be in orbit.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Nice to be in orbit.
Hey everybody, it's Nathan with the Geekosphere, and once again I am joined by my co-hosts and good friends Luke and PJ. Luke, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, sir.
He's doing excellent. PJ, how's it going with you?
Doing very well.
You're doing very well. Hey, you know what? If you guys were with us for last episode, you know there's a lot of exciting things that are coming up. We've got episode 9 down the road. We talked a lot about Star Wars in the last episode, which was its main focus, though we threw in a little bit of a couple things. We got episode 9 coming. We've got new games coming, Fallen Order. We've got, Disney Plus. Maybe by the time this comes out, we'll have our Disney Plus subscription. I'm hoping it's before that. I hope we'll have it before. I think it's mid-November.
Yeah, the 12th.
And I guess I should probably get it if we're going to talk about it.
If we're going to talk about it, or
You're going to watch The Mandalorian, right?
Is that a business expense?
No, it's not a business expense unless people start listening and giving us money. So we need to go down the Patreon
I like how you
route,
did your
I think.
I think that
Nobody
would be
could
great.
see you.
Nobody
doing
could
the
see me
finger,
point my finger, but
not that finger. Sorry.
You know, if we could just get to the point where we're paying for hosting bills, right? That'd be great.
that would be
I like
amazing.
everything
That would
you
be kind
just
of
said.
awesome.
Right now, I'm getting paid in Three Musketeers.
You're getting paid with the candy bag.
That's right.
It continues to be on the shelf behind us.
Yes.
I'm going to hit
Exactly.
that on the way out.
Yes, hit the candy bag, take a little bit, but don't take all of it because the candy is actually a business expense for my wife. So, believe it or not.
I believe it.
So, one thing we like to do normally is find out what's going on in each other's geek lives. However, you know what? Not much has changed from the previous episode because, to be full disclosure, we're doing them in the same evening. So,
I was going to say.
I do want to bring up one thing that I
what-
didn't bring in the last
I did eat
though.
one more Three Musketeers.
you did add a Three
between.
Musketeers to your consumption.
So I just wanted that. Go ahead, PJ.
Yeah.
And I talked about it a little bit just a minute ago, but tomorrow, but not tomorrow because we're not going to post this tonight.
No.
The Outer Worlds is coming out.
Yes, Outer Worlds coming out October 25th.
It's by Obsidian, which is the same group that did Fallout New Vegas. They were also Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, I love
if
Knights
you
of the
if you ever played that game is phenomenal. If you
love
haven't
those
played it,
games.
there's actually a lot of ways to play it today. You can play
You
it
can play it
on
your phone.
phone.
Yeah, I can play it on my Kindle,
That is just nuts to me.
and I actually have it on my computer.
Could I play it on my Zune?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No.
Support for Zune is sketchy at best.
Yes, exactly.
But it comes out tomorrow. If you're a Xbox Game Pass subscriber, it's included because
cool.
Obsidian is now a first-party Microsoft studio.
Oh, nice.
And all first-party Microsoft games, even though it's technically fits in that grayish area because they were bought after the game
Gotcha.
was
Okay.
started. But it is coming to Game Pass day one, so I've already preloaded it.
Oh, you did preload it?
and
okay.
I will be playing it. So hopefully next episode I'll give some impressions.
Yeah, give me some because I
If
want to
nothing,
hear
I'll
about
put
it.
I'll put some stuff on the blog. But everything I've heard so far, reviews have been anywhere from 8s to 9.5s.
Good.
So
Well, and I've just seen the little window advertisements
Yeah.
on like IO9 and pages I go to. So, I definitely need to look into it. Maybe on Twitter, I see a lot of little ads for it. So it looks cool. It looks fun.
I got to say though, PJ, you're impressing me more and more because I mean, to use a vernacular from the '80s, you are a plethora of information on
Thank
games.
you.
He is. That's
That's
why,
pretty cool.
That's why he's here.
That's right.
because
Video games.
I
Man.
play video games, but I do not know video games
No,
like PJ does.
I don't play video
I
games.
listen to way too many podcasts.
Well,
about
that
them.
could be too.
Do you listen to ours?
I do. I've actually
Great.
I don't want to know how much of the bulk of our downloads are you.
not that many.
Not that many. Okay. I'd like to assume that maybe somebody's listening out there. So tonight, what we thought we might do for the second episode of our little 2-episode marathon that we're recording is, Luke, you recently had a little bit of a fun little jaunt.
I did.
A little trip to Orlando.
I
where
did.
You got to experience before the rest of us.
Yes, and I went and traveled to Batu.
You did go to Batu,
Galaxy's
which of course
Edge.
we were talking about Galaxy's Edge
That's
at
correct.
Disney World.
At Disney, more specifically Hollywood Studios.
Is
if
it
you
Hollywood
know.
Studios?
Hollywood
Yes.
Studios. Which, by the way, Star Tours is still there.
Yes.
But it is, and it's still in this exact location, but it is not part of Galaxy's Edge.
Which,
Galaxy's
by
Edge
the
is
way,
separate.
Star Tours just added
Yes.
the planet that we see in the Rise of Skywalker
That is
trailer.
correct.
Has given it a name, and it is not Endor.
No, it is
Oh,
not Endor.
okay.
That is not Endor you see in the
I
trailer.
haven't seen that
Where
yet.
the Death Star lies in wreckage.
Apparently not.
So it's not the moon; it's the planet or another
we
moon.
don't know.
No, we don't know.
But you got to assume an
Interesting.
explosion that big that wreckage could go pretty far.
It would
Yeah, I
seem
would
so.
think it would have destroyed the Ewoks.
Yes.
by far.
Yeah, so maybe they were able, like a claymore, to direct it
Burned.
in one direction. So who knows?
Exactly. So yes, I went to
Anyway.
Galaxy's Edge. Went to the Edge and returned.
You did. And
Yes.
so what we thought we might hear is a little bit and ask some questions about your experience there. We know that we've seen your videos of it, which we want to post. Some of the footage you took while you were there. One thing you've told me is that, of course, Disney knocked it out of the park on this.
They did. They knocked it out. No pun intended.
No
Knocked
pun
it out of the park.
intended.
What's really great is that Disney with Galaxy's Edge did the same thing that they do, I think, with a lot of other their lands, with the exception of maybe Toy Story Land and some other ones that are fairly wide open. You really don't see anything until you've actually gotten into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, you
They've
showed
done
me
a-
footage of the entrance, and I thought that was really
It was
cool.
very weird. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
cool entrance because you walk through this tunnel, and the first part of the tunnel just looks like a normal tunnel. It just looks like
Yeah.
because you come from where, if you've been to Hollywood Studios, you come from more of the cityscape where the Muppets thing is.
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
and Pizza Rizzo and all those things, and you walk then through this tunnel to get to Galaxy's Edge, and it's just very immersive because when you very first get in there. There's sound effects. There's so you hear space. I mean, obviously, it would be really cool if spaceships actually flew over your head.
That'd be cool.
But they just make it sound like there's. A
I
spaceship
imagine
that
at some
flew
point
over.
Disney's going to come up with some kind
Gotta
of
be a way.
nighttime holographic projection of spaceships flying.
I would
overhead.
think. I would think.
That's probably going to be.
And I had the benefit of seeing it both in the day and at night.
Oh, cool.
So,
which
is
did you
pretty cool.
prefer, day or night?
I actually preferred. That's a good one because night had its really good because everything lit up and everything
Yeah.
looked really pretty. But I liked it in the daytime because you could see more detail.
Well, I feel like at nighttime Disney becomes more immersive because with the backdrop of a night sky, you don't see what's going on around you. I would feel like Batuu at night would be more like, okay, I really feel like I'm here.
Right, exactly. So yeah, but during the daytime you can obviously see a lot more. The biggest thing I'll tell you, if you were to remember anything though, is that it's literally just a really big Star Wars gift shop with one ride.
Right now. Yes.
It's going to have a second ride opening in December, which is Rise of the Resistance, which is supposed to be totally immersion and totally awesome.
Yeah.
Which I did not get to ride, and I know you're going in 2021, and
Yes.
and you might get a chance to ride.
See,
that
I'm
before
hoping.
me.
What I've told Luke is I'm hoping that I get to ride it before him, so then I can come back and do an episode where it's Nathan's trip to Galaxy.
That's right,
and I get
Nathan's
to add to it and gloat.
But it's basically surrounds. It's on Batuu. This is a new planet that they somewhat created. The time frame around where this is right at after the end of the Last Jedi. So the Millennium Falcon has been flown to Batuu by Chewie to be repaired, and Hondo is the. He was not a mercenary, but more like a Hondo and Ahsoka.
He's kind of a
it's kind of like
smuggler.
a smuggler. Yeah,
Yeah,
smuggler is the word I
smuggler.
was looking for. So smuggler. So he basically borrows the Millennium Falcon to allow you as a crew member. You're then taking the Millennium Falcon and going and getting something for him.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but you're basically going in and getting something to help the Resistance.
Okay, so hold on.
So this is Hondo from
From-
Rebel or
yeah.
from Clone Wars.
From the
yes?
Clone Wars.
From Clone Wars, yes. It
Oh,
is.
and
Hondo
Rebels.
You
and
actually, there's an animatronic of him in the ride.
That's
I've
in
seen
the ride,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
So you
That
walk
dude's
through,
old.
and he actually describes everything to you and what you're supposed to do.
Oh,
and
that's
then you
cool. I
Get,
didn't know that part.
So there's definitely, like, as Batuu, as we've heard before it opened, that it is canon.
it is canon.
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Because Batuu, according to what I've seen in the Galaxy's Edge, appears to be a kind of a jungle planet, right?
It's supposed to be a jungle planet, so you definitely hear
So-
the more of the jungle-ish sound effects going on and stuff like
Let's
that.
go back to the opening of the Rise of Skywalker trailer.
That's true. She's running
that
through the
Batuu?
jungle.
That be Batuu?
That could
I'm
be
curious.
Batuu.
That could be Batuu because we see a rebel or a resistance outpost in the trailer. If Chewie's gone there, I wonder if they're actually the storyline ties in that sense that they've set up. Because then going back to some things we talked about in the previous episode about the last ride of the Falcon, now we can see where that fits
Yeah.
into the story.
Exactly. So So essentially, that could be. So maybe the Millennium Falcon's there being repaired, and she's because it
training.
appears she's training.
She's training because she is in Galaxy's
She's
Edge.
in Galaxy's Edge.
Yes.
Yeah. In
And
fact, that's another really cool thing about the park is that this part of the park is that they're walking around all the time. So it's not like it's a scheduled, when you go to Disney World or when you go to Disneyland, they have the picture spots,
Yes,
where
characters.
Goofy stands there the entire time. He doesn't walk around. Ray and Chewie are literally walking around as you're and
That's
like
awesome.
just interacting with people.
They're just going about their business.
They're going about their business. They're fixing things. They're going over to the, there's a X-Wing fighter. There's all types of different fighters and stuff around. They're going and fixing things. They're walking around. Stormtroopers are walking around continuously, interrogating people, asking them for their papers. And there's a First Order section of Batuu.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's that section of it that has Kylo Ren's ship is there, and you can see that.
See, I didn't realize his ship was there. I'd like
His
to
ship
see
was
that.
actually there.
I'd
So
like
it's
to see
actually
that.
there, or at least what looks like his ship, but it's his ship because he is walking around as well.
Yeah, you showed me some footage where Kylo is walking by and they're clearing everybody out of the way.
Yeah,
to
excuse
let him
me,
through.
sir. Sorry, sir. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're being very apologetic because they don't want to get smashed by Kylo Ren.
I do
Seems
like
fair.
that the stormtroopers are very polite and apologetic. So they must be Canadian.
So sorry.
Sorry.
So, but Smuggler's Run was amazing. It went during the week the first time, and it was a 25-minute wait.
Okay.
So
wow.
it was
not bad at
very
all.
small wait. I think what I really loved about the ride itself is the wait time. Is while you're waiting, you see all this really cool stuff. It's very similar to Star Tours. If you rode Star Tours, where you're seeing stuff happening, there's announcements going on over the loudspeakers.
Yeah.
There's things going on around you that you can look at and check out. But what I love I know it sounds really dumb, but what I love the most is that there is literally, I guess, when they built the park or when they did this section of the park, there must have been one guy that went along and painted everything. And then another guy that came along and made it look worn out. And so because it
looks run down.
It looks run down.
That's cool.
You look at the metal fatigue on the handrails, and it's all it's just. But you can't pick anything off because if you try, it just doesn't go anywhere.
Well, and that's the
So-
thing with Star Wars. It has to be a lived-in universe because that
Right,
was
right.
always
Exactly.
George's plan.
Right. So that's what I loved is the attention to detail. It's amazing.
Well, and you make a good
Amazing.
point about standing in line for the ride because that's something Disney does very well, whether you go to Disneyland or Disney World. Because I remember going out to Disneyland, which was always kind of a big deal for me because I want to go see the original, right?
Yep.
And I always wanted to ride the submarines when I was a kid. Of course,
Submarines
now
are awesome.
it's Nemo, but
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I wanted to see 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I never got to see it, but I remember, going over to if you've been to Disneyland, you have the Indiana Jones ride, and the detail in that where you're walking through the cave, the temple, and all that. It really makes those lines like bearable, more bearable.
Exactly.
And they're still long. The same thing with Test Drive at Epcot is like that. The full immersion and I think that's the thing that we anticipate with Disney is when you go into a ride, that the ride really begins the moment you step into the queue.
Right.
And that's the great thing about the Star Wars, Star Tours, and all that is it really does start the minute you get into the queue.
And they were good and they were smart about that, and they added it to even old rides like Space Mountain,
Yeah,
where you can play games and do stuff while you're waiting in line too. So
That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. But again, Smuggler's Run, you're kind of recruited by Hondo. You get to what the other really cool thing I loved about it is that I'd seen pictures of folks sitting in like the Millennium Falcon leisure area, with the not the chessboard, but the Sherrick board. But so basically, you walk up to and they hand you a card, and the card says you're a pilot, a gunner, or an engineer, and then you pick on whether you're on the right side or the left. And then as a group, you're then able to just hang out in this little area.
How big? I mean, this is a pretty big area, though, isn't it? I mean, it's to be the interior of the Falcon. It's not tiny.
It's not tiny, but it's only still about the size of the room
We're
here.
currently in. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
pretty small, but I assume there might be multiple of these areas around.
Oh, I'm sure.
in order to
yes.
be able to keep the ride going. Because my understanding is they were supposed to be able to get 1,800 people through an hour.
I did read
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yes, it's supposed to be a
So-
huge number of people through an
Correct. Yeah. So it's a lot.
It's
So
gotta be like-
exactly. So I'm sure there's multiple spires going
Yeah,
out to different places. So essentially, you so I was the right side pilot. which again, if you are, and I said this in the last episode, if you are going to Galaxy's Edge, you want to try and be the right side pilot because that means you're Chewie, or essentially Chewie, and you get to pull the lever for the hyperspace.
See, and that's the job everybody wants.
I loved it, and you can hear it in the
That's
videos.
what
When
I
you see it online, you'll hear me do the woohoo because it's awesome. And you get to do it twice. You get to do it the first
that's
time
awesome.
when you travel where you're going, and then you do it again to get back.
And it's not just like the visual, but there's
You
motion
can feel,
behind it.
yeah, there's motion, there's
Nice.
everything, and you're doing right to left, and the left pilot is doing up and down. So
See, working in coordination would be so brutal.
It is, and we ran into a lot of stuff.
Well, and that brings up another thing. You said, depending on how poorly
Yes.
you do in your run as a smuggler, the ride, the environment is reactive to that. So
Yes.
when you come out of the ride, if you've flown poorly,
you
Luke,
can hear the stuff just making all these weird sounds.
lights are
and
flashing
flashing.
and flickering, and you've really banged up the Falcon.
And I didn't mention before, but also while you're on the Falcon, when you get back, Hondo comes on the little screen and he starts running through the things that are wrong with the ship. So he's like, ooh, hyperspace is down. That'll be this many credits. And ooh, life support failing. Ooh, that's bad. So eventually you owe him money. So
Because he's just taking it out of
right.
your...
So
That sounds Hondo.
but it was pretty cool. The other really cool thing is obviously as Disney does, everybody there is immersive. You cannot get
absolutely.
anyone to break character. My wife tried and it didn't work. But she didn't try it on purpose. My wife is a beautiful person. I'm sure she may or may not listen. But she went up to someone and was just kind of casually talking. So how was the day? How are you guys doing? You guys been busy? And what's been going on? You've been enjoying yourself? And the person did not fall out of character. Like, oh, Batuu is a beautiful planet. I love it here. I love being stationed here. I don't like that the First Order's here, but And he just went through this whole like weather of Batuu and how he loves it, where his family's from. His family's from Coruscant, and and all these different things. He's totally immersive. And my wife's just like, I just wanted to know if you liked working at Disney. And
I wish I could have seen her face when he goes into that long stretch of explanation.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's just totally in character.
Try the Bantha burgers.
Yeah. I also did try the blue milk.
Okay, so describe for us the blue milk.
The blue milk to me, now granted, I did not drink the blue milk without alcohol. So there is a
Apparently,
version,
you can get the blue milk with alcohol.
There is a version of blue milk. You can either get blue milk or blue milk with rum, or you can get the green milk with tequila.
We do not like the green milk.
No.
Let's just put that out there.
I'm not the green milk
That
fan,
sounds
and I'm
wrong.
not a tequila fan, but I am a rum fan. For all of you that want to know about Luke, I like rum. So anyway, so
There's
I had the
quote
blue milk
for the
with rum.
podcast for the week.
So my impression of the blue milk was that without the rum, how did I put it? It was more like Lucky Charms. You ever had the milk with Lucky Charms?
Yeah.
It's still pretty tasty. It doesn't taste like milk, but it has milk-ish, and it also has
Qualities
all the flavors of the Lucky Charms you just ate. That's kind of very similar to that, or maybe like not Count Chocula, but what's the other? Fruit Loops. Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops. Okay.
Fruit
Yeah,
Loops,
yeah.
So it tasted like milk that had really
Cereal in
cool
it.
cereal flavor
But
to it.
it's not thick.
No, it's not.
Okay,
not-
because it kind
not
of looks
extremely thick. It's a little
It
bit.
kind of
thick.
looks
it actual milk?
shaky.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just some
It's just some
liquid,
concoction, liquid,
concoction.
whatever.
Because so while you
I'm
were in
assuming.
Galaxy's Edge, here back home in the great state of Texas, my wife went and bought this flavored milk that Borden now makes in these little individual servings, and she got cotton candy.
Oh, is it good?
Not bad at all.
Really?
And tastes legitimately like cotton candy. Like
Wow.
a weird aftertaste cotton candy flavor. It was like, okay, that is not, like, it's good, but it's not right. It's like, it shouldn't taste like this and it shouldn't taste good. So that's what I imagined the blue milk, because it was blue. It was blue cotton candy. So that's kind of what I was wondering. Oh, maybe they got a deal with Borden and it's just cotton candy milk.
That's funny.
So when I bought it, though, they do say that'll be 15 credits.
Nice.
So everything is credits. And if I wanted my receipt, they call it a cargo slip.
Cargo slip.
So-
what is
Okay.
the conversion rate on credits versus US dollars?
It's a 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
Nice.
Yeah, so 1-to-1.
That makes it easy.
1-to-1.
None of that
but,
calculation stuff you have to do.
But
Especially if you had too many
outside
blue
of
milks.
outside of the Millennium Falcon, what is that? What did you say?
I said especially if you've had too many blue milks.
If you had too
milks
many
with
blue
rum.
milks, yes, you don't have to
want
do any
any
math.
calculation.
Exactly. But speaking of concoctions, you may also enjoy Oga's Cantina.
Yes.
So Oga's Cantina is also there. With it is a bar, very similar to the bar that you'd find, in Star Wars, and in Mos Eisley. I say I was about trying to think of it. And so there's the concoctions there are mostly just drinks, and you also can get a small little bit of appetizers. But you can only be in there for 45 minutes, and you has a true drink maximum. So you can only drink true drinks, and you're done.
So they basically put you on a
space is
timer
small.
from the minute. So what happens if your service is slow? They was a first order come in and
The
kick you
service
out?
is never slow.
I know it's Disney. It's never slow.
So, but there's always
a
stuff to
benefit.
look at. There's animals up in the tanks and things moving around. But the one part I really loved about Oga's Cantina is that it has the original droid from Star Tours. So if you rode the
You were
old
telling
Star
me that,
Tours,
yeah.
Nice.
if you rode the old Star Tours from the 80s and 90s, there was that, it's your first time. Well, it's mine too. Where's the brakes? Where's the brakes? That
Yeah.
guy, voiced by Pee Wee Herman, by the
Yes.
way, Paul Rubens. But anyway, he's there and he's the DJ.
Did he voice
Okay.
it? They're just using
I don't know.
the same lines.
Same lines, but no, I don't think it's. That's a great question. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually because he
curious.
does say other stuff other than
Yeah.
what's on the Star Tours.
yeah. So he just got a new job. He's just
He's just
Disney
doing it.
banished him to the backwater planet.
Exactly.
Repurposed.
Exactly, because he did not do a very good job with Star Tours.
No.
So
He panicked.
So I had a what was I? Oh, I had a trying to think, a fuzzy. Oh, what was it? Fuzzy Tauntaun.
Yes. That's
Sorry,
what you had.
I was
Fuzzy
trying to think.
Tauntaun.
Oh, and a Nub Nub. Yub Nub.
Oh, the Yub Nub. Yes.
Yub Nub.
Yeah.
So I had a Yub Nub and a Fuzzy Tauntaun. So the Fuzzy Tauntaun had foam on top of it that actually makes your tongue numb. So it was very interesting.
I want to
So-
know how they do it. And of course, it's
I don't
Disney,
know.
so they're never going to tell you.
Right.
But
How
I
they
really
do
want
it.
to know how they do it.
But the music's great. The bartenders are really involved, and it does seem like it's one of the sleaziest cantinas around.
Yeah.
So,
Did you eat anything while you were there?
I did not actually eat anything
I'm kind of
besides
curious
just the
what the food
appetizers.
is like. I'm always curious about the food.
But they do have one place that looks like it has rotisserie, and it's being controlled by one
Yeah.
of the robots, and so the rotisserie thing's turning, and that looked pretty cool. But no, I did not eat any of the food. I did make a droid, though.
Yes, you did.
So-
We were going to get to that. You did make a droid. You went to the droid factory.
I went to the droid
You did not
factory.
do the lightsaber.
I did not do the lightsaber. That is $200.
Yeah, lightsaber's
So,
expensive. But I have seen
lightsabers
the
are
video
expensive.
of what goes on in there, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But you can't go in, though, unless you're actually making a lightsaber.
Yeah, but you can go into the droid factory, correct?
You can go into the droid factory. You just can't go into the lightsaber factory.
Okay.
Or whatever they call it.
Yeah, the ceremonial
Ceremony. So the droid's pretty cool, though. The conveyor comes by, and you just pick your parts and you put them together. And you can either have the R2D2 style droid, or you can have the BB-8 style droid. So it's
So
up
do
to
you think? I'm wondering if the new hair? What is it? The hair dryer? Is that what they call it?
it's soccer ball and the hair dryer?
Soccer ball and a hair dryer. What is his name? D0 or something.
D,
like
yeah, D0. I don't
D0
remember that
or
one.
something like that.
Yeah. So, but apparently put together by Babu Frick, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The droid Smith,
that? Yes,
which we didn't actually talk about him in the last episode, but
we did not.
With
But he is
C-3PO.
he's that little guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
PJ's looking over like what?
Oh no, I remember.
You do remember? Okay.
The guy in C-3PO said.
Yes, in his head.
But so anyway, yeah. So I made a droid, and the droid actually is $100 or $99. But then you can also buy the bag, of course, for $50 if you want to carry it around in this little
Bag for
backpack.
$50.
You can also add a personality to
Yeah,
your
that's
droid.
the one that fascinates me, is because I've seen that. It's a whole wall of personality chips.
It's a whole personality chips of different types, so you can have your droid be part of the First Order. It could be a dark droid, or it can be a light droid. Part of the Resistance. They interact with each other, so if you have two different droids, they'll actually talk to one another. I did not get the personality chip, but the other cool thing is the droids also interact with the environment. So personality droid or not. Chip or not, when you're walking around Galaxy's Edge, if your droid is on, it will react with the environment. So mine,
Wow.
for
Oh,
instance,
that's cool.
when we got into the First Order section, because I got an R2D2 style droid, it made the same sounds. him, like it was scared of wherever he was.
And that's if it's is it constantly powered on, or can you flip it?
No,
on?
you can flip it. Yeah, it
Okay,
has.
so you
it
just
has an
kinda
off
kept it
switch.
on.
It
Okay.
has an off switch. Yeah,
I'm looking on a website, Walt Disney World News today, and I'm looking at the merchandise that's in the actual droid factory because I want to see what a $50 backpack looks like at Disney.
It just says Astromech Industries. I think
That's
is on
all it says.
and it's a blue backpack.
It's a blue
And
backpack.
and
I see
it
a lot
just
of
carries your
T-shirts,
stuff.
lots of T-shirts.
Of course, there's other kinds of stuff you can buy. You can buy like what R2D2 had on the yacht in
Yes,
Return
I
of the
did.
Jedi.
You can serve drinks.
You
I
can
did see
serve
that.
drinks and you
How
can
how,
change
how
the
big
colors
is
and
how big is the droid?
well, obviously on your radio dial, it's about, I don't know, what would you say that is?
That's probably about a foot and a
Foot
half.
and a half, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe 2 feet. Yeah, so it's about that big.
It's actually bigger than I thought it might be.
I'll bring it. I should have brought it tonight. I didn't.
Yeah,
think
we
about
should
it.
shoot a video of it. Yeah, I mean, and it's remote control.
Yeah, so it has a Bluetooth remote control, so it can turn the head back and forth. You can make it do the noises, and obviously it'll move back and forth or spin and around. So I've scared the dogs quite a lot.
Nice,
with
I
that.
would do that. Well, that's
So the BB-8 one will roll and.
Yeah, the BB-8 one will roll. I wanted to go classic.
Yeah,
so,
well, that makes
but
sense.
also I'm always afraid BB-8's head's gonna fall off.
that's mine too. You know.
So I don't want to do BB-8.
Well, that's the thing is our family. We're talking about going, and we are like, well, okay. So I also see that they also sell pre-boxed ones.
Oh yeah, so you can buy an R2D2 already done.
Oh,
if you
that's
want.
no fun.
Yeah, but I wanted to build my own.
You gotta
Yeah.
build
So-
your own. You
yeah.
gotta build your own. You gotta name him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our family, we're talking about when we go, we thought it'd be cool to all of us make one. Because I know they have the sticker packs and things like that.
Yep.
And, the question becomes, what style, do we all get R2 styles or do we all get BB-8 style? And I'm just,
And they may have the hairdryer style at some point.
they probably will.
Maybe BB-1 from.
Yeah, D0. I just think it would be, you start looking at this kind of stuff, and I'm looking at these pictures, and okay, great, you could go out and spend $100 on a droid, the prepackaged one, but why would you buy one off the shelf if you're there?
Oh, it's the same price. I thought
It's the same
they must
price.
be they must be cheaper or something.
No, it's the same price, $99 for a pre-made droid.
Then
Yeah, it's the same exact price.
Except DJR3X, who is $449, but apparently, I'm guessing he plays music. He's a Bluetooth speaker.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
There's also a fully sized R2D2
For $25,000.
For $25,000. That's correct.
And yet, people at cons make their own all the time.
All the time. 501st has plenty.
501st makes droids all the
Hanging
time.
out.
So,
when I hit
So-
the lottery, I'm going to buy you each.
yeah,
An
a
R2
$25,000
$25,000
R2.
R2.
Honestly, if you could just get me a decent size, an actual decent, authentic Captain America costume, I'll be happy.
So the other cool thing is that Galaxy's Edge is also Easter egg laden a little bit, and
Yeah.
you can kind of tell that the other piece is that that I learned through a little bit of research is that Disney has really been kind of sowing the seeds of Galaxy's Edge for quite some time. There's actually a mention of Black Spire Outpost in Solo, which Black Spire Outpost is what is Galaxy's Edge. It's
Okay.
that too. It's
Do
Black
they
Spire
mention it?
Outpost.
I have to go back and
They
watch
apparently
Solo
mention
now.
it. L337 in Solo.
Yeah.
And then also
Good old elite droid.
exactly. Also Doc Endar. Doc Ondar is mentioned as a guest of Dryden in Solo, and he is there as well. He's an Ithorian character, and it's the Doc Endar's Den of Antiquities. So it's like a high end gift shop. So there you can buy lightsabers, for a couple $100 that are already
Yeah.
pre-made. Really nice ones, really good stuff. You can buy one gold credit for like $50 or something. It's like really cool gold laden thing. You can buy a Kyber crystal. You can buy all these
Yeah.
cool things. But yeah, Dolk Endar is actually there, and he's in this like cage thing, and you can.
Oh,
see
yeah, I
him.
did see that. Yeah.
So you can see him, and he interacts with people and stuff. I mean, he's not real. He's an animatronic, but he's still pretty cool. So there's another little plug. But like I said, there's a lot of great shops there, a lot of great stuff to buy. Obviously, the other big thing that Disney does is they do a lot of forced perspective. So when you're looking up past the Millennium Falcon, you can see mountains, but you can also see like someone's home way, way up there that looks like it's 3 miles away, when in reality it's probably only 50 feet.
Yeah, it's 50 feet,
So-
and it's 6 inches tall.
Right, exactly. So a lot of
still.
force perspective, just like they do with a lot of their other Disney
Well,
stuff.
and the one that always fascinates me with Disney until I see this was Cars.
Yeah, Cars
At
is
Disney
great.
at California Adventures. I thought that was fantastic because it really is all this force perspective, but you feel like you're out in the middle of the Southwest,
Exactly.
seeing this. So it was really neat.
And not to further plug more Disney stuff, but more, you mentioned Cars, is that they have the new Toy Story Land. And Toy Story Land is just after Galaxy's Quest. So if you're walking, you can walk through Galaxy's Quest and then you come to Toy Story Land, and that's where...
Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy Quest is a different thing.
Did I say Galaxy Quest?
You keep saying
Did
Galaxy
I
Quest, yes.
Did I keep saying Galaxy
You've
Quest?
said it at least twice.
Because it's like one of my favorite movies. I love Galaxy
and a
Quest.
documentary's coming out
That's
about
right, a
it.
documentary. So Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge, which we'll
you for correcting
forgive
me.
because Galaxy Quest is a fantastic movie.
Oh, it's a
Absolutely.
fantastic movie. I love that
amazing movie.
I really
so
want to see
Galaxy's
that documentary.
Edge. So when you go past Galaxy's Edge, Toy Story Land is there, and that's where you can find the Slinky Dog ride. And,
Oh, cool.
But it's other cool because it's kind of made out of the, what do they call the toys that had the sticks and the circles?
Lincoln Logs,
Not Lincoln
No,
Logs.
Tinker Toys.
Tinker
Yeah.
Toys, thank
Made
you.
out of
Tinker
Tinker
Toys.
Toys.
So all the Tinker Toys are around, and there's candy, there's
cool.
like Christmas
like that.
lights and stuff like that. Anyway,
That's
so
really neat.
Toy Story Land is pretty cool too.
I could
So,
do that.
right
I could
after
do that.
Galaxy's.
Now you mentioned
Edge
something to me
Quest.
that Star Tours ties a little bit to Galaxy's Edge by you can land on Batuu.
Yeah, apparently after I did not ride Star Tours on this particular trip.
Okay.
I have ridden it before, and obviously it includes all the new stuff because you start out with some Force Awakens stuff, and then you still go to other places. But my understanding is that at the end of Star Tours now, you actually land back at Batuu.
Oh, that's cool.
As part of
Okay.
the ride. So
That's great. I'd love that. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
So all in all, the fact that it's the world's biggest gift shop with a ride,
with a ride, soon to be 2 rides.
two rides, are they on the right track with this? I mean,
I
is it
think
worth?
it's totally worth.
Okay.
Totally worth going. Totally worth seeing. Very immersive and very overwhelming.
Oh, I'm sure.
Especially
It's
if you're
the
a big
biggest
Star
park they've
Wars.
ever built, isn't it?
Biggest park they've ever built. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it's just there's so much to look at, and there's small little Easter eggs. Funny enough, my son, who didn't get to go on this trip, Andrew, he texted me and said, "Hey, there's this water fountain in Black Spire Outpost. You got to Black Spire Outpost Rented Lips that you have to go check out. Apparently, there's something cool with it." And I'm like, okay, how'd you find out? It's YouTube. So there's stuff on YouTube everywhere.
Yeah,
and
there
sure
is.
enough, there's a water fountain. This little animal pops up and looks around and
Oh,
and
the
checks things out.
Dianaga, yeah.
yeah, the Dianaga. Thank
Oh,
you.
nice.
And so so you so there's little things like that you can find.
See, this is going to be the hardest part for me when we go, is because family's going, relatives, grandparents. I'm going to want to spend every ounce of time the day we go there just looking for stuff, and I'm going to drive them nuts. They're going to leave
really
me at
are.
the park and go somewhere else because I'm going to be probably my son and maybe my daughter will be digging into all the details, just trying to see everything. And
What I love too is that
Catch
there's
y'all tomorrow.
when
Yep.
you watch the
Bye.
movie, there's always these doors that lead places. You know,
Yes,
like you're in this shop, or you're in this hut, or you're in here in Tatooine or whatever, and there's a door. There's doors everywhere, and it's like they don't go anywhere. And I'm like, I just want to go and run through the doors. Like
That's always
push a
my-
button and hit a door.
And that's the hard part for me with these immersion things. And this is going to sound really, really dorky, but the fact that we're not allowed to wear costumes
Yeah,
at Disney, I mean, that's the prime place to go
to cosplay.
to cosplay. Is
Yeah.
they've got to come up with some solution to that issue,
Like a rental costume.
a rental or something. But that goes
That's
into
like
we've talked
different
about
enough.
we've talked about their new hotel.
Yeah, the
The
Chandrilla
fully
line.
immersive Star Wars cruise hotel, which none of us will ever be able to set foot in.
called the Chandrilla Cruise Line.
the Chandrilla Cruise Line, which is fully immersive and actually puts you in the story.
in the story. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
insane.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I'd never want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
You're
true.
gonna have a whole generation of 40-something-year-old dads who are never gonna leave Disney World
Pretty sure they're going to kick you out at some point.
at some point, but having midlife crisis in there because they didn't pilot the Falcon correctly.
Well, or that, or they're like putting their kids college education
Just to
on,
stay
just
there.
to stay there,
Just
for
to stay one night.
Sorry, guys.
13
Sorry.
grand or whatever for their entire family to go stay on a Star Wars cruise.
That's crazy how
But-
much. But yet people keep paying it. Somebody's got to stop paying for these things so Disney finally realizes that there's the rest of the world.
That's what's amazing is my wife and I stood there for probably a good 15, 20 minutes as we were building the droid. And there was a line at least 15 people. I'm like, so just in the matter of time that we stood there for maybe 30 minutes to make my droid and leave, they made probably $5,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that? And you look at stuff, and no offense, it says made in China.
Yeah, it's not like it's...
Yeah, so it's the stickers and the stuff that you pay $15 for probably cost $1, to make.
Yeah.
And how many people are going to go back multiple times and make a droid every time they go
Right,
back?
exactly.
Or make a lightsaber.
Right.
Or, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us. I mean, we've been to Disney once before, but the kids were so small. The only reason we're going is grandparents are paying for it.
Yeah.
It's like they're funding it. We don't pay for these trips. There's no way.
I mean, if the video was still on, you'd see who paid for my trip, which is on my hat.
Yes, exactly.
The company I work for.
A company trip or something like that.
So, exactly. So,
and to me, that is a little bit of the sting with it is they make these great things, but again, at the end of the day, it's a money making.
Too hard to get,
and it's too hard to get into.
Yeah, how can you enjoy it? How can you get there?
We figured the family of 5 probably would spend about $13,000 to $15,000 to go to Disney
never going.
this day and age.
That's I know. PJ, sorry, man.
Sorry, dude.
You need a business trip out there.
I need something.
You need to start working for my company,
Yeah.
and then I can take you with me. Yeah,
Y'all hiring?
and we'll all. Hey, you know what? We'll both ride the rise of resistance before he does.
Oh yeah,
For Nathan.
whatever.
Nice.
I'm in the wrong
So
business, right?
so our new Patreon is our new goal is going to be
our new goal is
send
to
the
get
Geekosphere
Rise of the
PJ
Resistance.
the opening.
PJ to Disney World.
Disney
If I went
World.
without my kids, I couldn't
Exactly.
come home.
Hey, okay, so here's the thing. I went to Disneyland without my kids and without my wife, and I'm still paying for it.
Yeah, I've done that. So I've been
The last time I went was before Karen and I had kids, and we had a great time at Disney World. And we keep talking about we're going to go back, but
Then you start doing the math.
it's like, well, yeah, that's
And that's a lot of
people.
kids you got there, PJ. that you got paid for.
Yeah.
But here's the
So,
thing. You could go to California and still see the same thing.
That's true. Now I have
Yeah.
not heard that Galaxy's Edge, because you know that Disney does things a little bit differently.
Each
sometimes
one is
for
a little bit
each one.
different, yeah.
But I haven't heard that Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland's any different. than
That's
the
what
one
I've
at
heard
Disney
as well.
World.
I've heard is this experience is exactly the same thing. So
And the other thing I wanted to mention too with the Millennium Falcon is it is extremely detailed.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you walk up to it and you can't really go underneath it, but you can get pretty close, and it's just the detail is amazing.
I bet that's phenomenal.
Just amazing.
I just want to see that. I
Yeah,
want to
same.
stand in front of it and just look at it.
And I have a video, but of course it does the same thing where you think it's starting. He does that. You know,
it does?
So it does those noises every now and then where it just like, you could just, I just can picture Han Solo on top going, no, don't do that, do this, and they're trying to fix
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Hitting the side.
I don't
This
know,
goes
whatever.
here,
And
that goes there.
Yeah, exactly. And banging stuff.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
just,
of course we'll have to replace it.
and that's what the other thing I wanted to know is that it's docked, right? So it's landed. So the landing platform or the loading platform is down. So it looks like you can walk up inside the one that's actually sitting there. And
Really?
I want to know, is it really like the Millennium Falcon inside that
Is
version?
there an interior that
You can see inside the cockpit, and it looks
That's
exactly
the VIP
same.
experience.
the
where
VIP? It's like
you
Cinderella's
get-
castle.
You get
Right.
to do the ride actually in the real
Exactly.
one. That'd be
Or
pretty
like
cool.
Kylo's Ren ship. Is it exactly like it is in the
Yeah.
movie on the
My
inside? 'Cause
guess
it
is it's just plywood.
It's just
Yeah,
plywood.
probably.
It probably is.
It probably is just plywood.
You go on the
still.
backside of it, and it's just like propped up with some plywood
Yeah.
pieces. Yeah, exactly.
Looks like a high school musical production.
Like of Aliens.
Yes.
Yes.
Again,
exactly.
we'll get into that one.
We'll get
one
into
day.
that one.
That was awesome.
But yes, I would highly recommend
Highly
Galaxy's
recommend
Edge
it.
if you can afford it.
If you can afford it. So sell a child, you can go. Oh man. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I was a little bit jealous. Luke sent videos. He showed me pictures.
Yeah.
I'm definitely, envious of his time, but we'll have to go. I'll have to report when we go in a year and a half. I got a Florida Keys trip in between there. I'm excited about that. So,
Well, and
Well,
I grew up in the Florida Keys.
so it's not that much of a trip to you. So, anyway, all right. Well, PJ, got any more questions for him, or
No,
that was enough to hear?
It's just every time I'm like, oh,
Yeah, is it deflating you a little bit?
not deflating, but just like
I really
that
wanna
sounds
go.
fun.
It's deflating me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit like,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sell a kidney or something.
Yeah. My biggest fear is when I get there, it's all going to be run down.
Well, it already is kind of run down.
No, but I mean like
on
legitimately, truthfully run down. Anyway. Well, hey, as always, you can find our different accounts and different places that we post this podcast, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher or even on our website at thegeekosphere.net. You can also see our blog there, which PJ's already posting, and hopefully each of us will be contributing to that. You can also check out our Instagram at the Geekosphere Podcast, as well as our Twitter account, the Geekosphere, which we will all be involved with. If you guys have, and on our website, you can also find our email, or at least the email for the website.
Yep.
If you guys have ideas or things we should talk about, or maybe something we messed up, generally that's directed towards me, and something we forgot to talk about, check it out.
Podcast at thegeekosphere.net.
Podcast at thegeekosphere.net. That is correct. And so,
Very long.
You know, until next time, may all your dreams be Disney dreams of Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, and the Millennium Falcon. This is Nathan.
This is Luke. And PJ, you ready?
I'm ready.
I love you.
I know.
And there it is. Thanks for listening.
Nice to be in orbit.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Nice to be in orbit.